Hello and welcome back to Hollybush Railway. A little quick video for you today, a follow-up to my last one on the brand new Hornby TT120 four-wheel coaches. And since I filmed my first video, I've been fitting the accessories pack onto them. So I've got a close-up here of one of the coaches, and as you can see I've fitted the running boards and the brake pipes. Now, I have to say, this was not entirely clear how you're supposed to do this. The coaches didn't come with any instructions. And I want to say a shout out to Mac Trains. It was his video review that showed me where I'm supposed to be connecting all these things into. So if we get an overhead shot here of the underside of the coach, you can see that the running boards clip into four little holes that run along either side of the underframe of the carriage. Now, these are not the easiest things to spot. They are very, very small. And with my eyesight, I didn't see them very clearly at first. I wasn't entirely sure if that was what I was supposed to be clipping them into, or if they were supposed to attach somehow to the black part on the underside there. But no, there are holes that they're meant to go into there. It's a pretty simple push fit once you see where they go. And I've been running these for a while today, and I found that they have stayed in perfectly fine without anything more to hold them in than just the friction from the holes themselves. So that was a nice, easy job. The brake pipes, on the other hand, were a little bit trickier. There's a very small hole on each of the underframes between the buffers, and this is where the brake pipes attach. Now, I found it was very difficult to get them in. I had to use a very small pair of tweezers to push them in. It's quite difficult to get a hold of them as well because they are so tiny. And they wouldn't stay in on their own. So I had to use a tiny drop of super glue just to keep them in place. Hopefully I've managed to make a fairly neat job of them, if I can keep the camera in focus. And there's not too much of a glue mark. In fact, there's probably about as much of a glue mark on the Hornby fitted coupling moulding than there is on my own fitted brake pipes there. Once they're all in place on a train though, that's not something that you're going to notice because it is so small. I've also done a tiny bit of weathering onto the roofs. Just a little bit of sort of a grime, brown grey weathering powder onto there. Very subtly, it just makes them slightly less plasticky looking, a little bit more realistic for having been out in the rain. And if I can get the camera and a bit of light onto there, you can see that that does make a bit of a difference, just having a little bit more detail between the coaches there. You might also be able to tell a few of the details on the coaches quite nicely here as well. You can actually just make out drop shadows on the printed text for the doors. And something that a few reviews have pointed out is that there's a little moulded gap underneath the doors, which is a nice little touch, just makes it stand out a wee bit more. A lot of this is details that you're not really going to make out unless you're really going in close with the camera, but if you're filming them for YouTube videos and things like that, it does make a difference. And I'm going to try and get as close as I can here and put as much light on this shot as I can. And let's see if we can see this little detail. If you look very closely, then you'll see that there's different moquettes in the first and third class coaches. The first class has blue and the third class is red, which is a nice little touch. So there you are, a little follow-up to my first video with my first thoughts on Hornby's new TT120 four-wheel coaches. Now I've got the accessory pack onto them for a little bit more detail, a little bit of just quite subtle weathering, and a chance to have a bit more time with them and notice a few more things, and things that I've picked up from other YouTube videos and just from having more time with them going around Hollybush. These are absolutely superb little models. I highly recommend them. And yeah, can't wait for the terrier to pull them. Thanks for watching. Please do like, subscribe, comment, all the usual YouTube stuff. Take care, and I'll see you again soon. Bye.